Okay, all right, so let's begin. All right, so this is what we're trying to replicate. So we have this whole menu items, we have this whole uh, hero section, that's what I would call it, with this whole text and the image. We have this fully remote whatever here. We have this CTA section, yeah, and then we have the footer, right? Now, if you check clearly on these items, you'd see on this page, you see that we have certain position elements, like this guy is positioned somewhere here. This guy is also positioned somewhere here. Then we have this guy positioned here. And if you scroll down, we have this guy here. We have we have this guy here as well, and then we have this and this, right? So what we want to do is we want to place these beers, cola. I think they're called cola beers. Yeah, we want to place them all around this page. And I quickly designed and then replicated this with CSS, of course. So this is what we have. Okay, not really. This A is terrible. So let me change that. So um let me just go to the A. I think it's in team. No, it's in the menu. So header A, yeah. So I'll just change the color to black, right? Yeah. So okay. For whatever reason that did not work. I don't even know if my server is on. Okay, yeah, so it's work now. So this is black now, right? All right, so we want to place these items, like we said, all these items here. Now, what we have here is, the normal. Let me show you the HTML. It's quite simple. We have a header div, uh, a header tag rather, and then inside we have this div, which is the logo containing this guy, this logo, and then we have the menu on the right hand side, which is this guy, right? Home, about, and whatever inside the nav. Yeah. Then we have the hero section, which contains one div, two div, right? So we flex this hero. This div goes to the left. This div goes to the right, which is this guy and this guy. Then coming down, we have remote, which is just this guy here. This is this guy. I use studio elements to create this, which you would learn real soon. So don't worry about all of that. And then we have a team section, which is the CTA, comes with the H3, which is this big guy here. And then your A tag, which is create your workspace. That's the button, which is this, right? I added a hover whatever to it. And then finally, we have the footer section, which is just this guy, which is this footer section. We have one div and two div, right? The left footer contains this security privacy terms and the copyright, while the right contains this English, this globe, and this image, which is here. So this, and this basically. So that's just what we have here. It's not difficult. I mean, if you guys like, I can still give you you play around it. If you can also bring it to life, it's simple, really, really simple. But that's not the point. The point is, again, we want to place all these items where we want them, right? And I hope this class is going to be really, really like simple, really, really straightforward. Yeah, so let's just begin. So the first one I want to place is this guy here, right? Now we have different kinds of positioning. We have static, we have relative. I think we have five: static, relative, fixed, absolute, and sticky, right? If you go through the videos, like I keep telling you guys, you have to watch the videos because these videos, these live sessions, everything is not being covered. We're just covering what we need to achieve stuff, right? We're not really covering everything. So yeah, so that's that about that. But for this, we'll be making use basically of just for now, let's just go with absolute, right? We'll be making use of just relative and absolute. So when you create your documents, when you write your code, it has a static positioning of static. Yeah, so that's the default positioning. It has a default positioning rather of static. So that is the main flow, like whatever, like the flow of this document, the way it is, whatever comes first comes first. The logo comes first, this comes after it, this comes out. That's the flow till we get all the way to the footer. So it's from top to bottom, right? But pos- that is what is called static. But absolute and the rest of them is used to like change. this positioning. So this guy that is supposed to be at the bottom, if I use my positioning, I can move it from this bottom that it ordinarily should be upwards, position it wherever I want to position it. So that's how positioning works, right? So let's start with this guy to explain clearly what we want to do. So um, this div is what is closest to this guy, and this guy. So we have polar bear here, and polar bear here. So what I personally would do, there are so many ways of doing this, but what I personally would do is I would make this the relative element, right? So I'll position this as relative. So what that means is that the parent container to whatever I want to position should always be the relative. To explain what I mean, so to explain what I mean, for instance, we have this div called hero, right? And this div called hero contains everything here. So the div called hero, look at where it starts, look at where it ends, right? Now, this div called hero is what I'm going to place as. So I'll go to where hero is, and I would say, hero, look at it here. I would say your positioning is going to be relative, right? Relative. That's all. Nothing changes. If you check my document, this is my document. Nothing changes. It's still there. Everything is still as it is. Yeah, there's no real change made here, right? So now I want to place a bear here because on the Figma file, a bear is somewhere here. So what do? I would first of all add the bear. So let's add an image, and mind you, it should be inside this div. So I'm not going to place the bear outside the div. It has to be inside that div because to me personally, it's the closest item to the bear I want to place. So I'm going to use this div as the relative, which is the hero div. So first of all, let's just get our image. So I'm going to say I want image from the images. What am I doing? Say from the from the images. Like sometimes VS Code you just keep selecting. I don't know what it's selecting. So Cola one, that's why I named it, right? So this is Cola one. So that's the pair. So if you check our site, look at it here, right? So what is happening here is that I flexed these two containers, and now we've added another container, which is this third one. So that's why it's now this guy with this big container with this guy side by side, right? So that flex is still happening. The flex we added to the hero section flex is still affecting it. But that's not what I want. I want this guy to be able to move all around. Like, so what do? I'll give it a class. So I'll just give it color one, right? A class of color one. Then I'll go to my CS and I would say color one, I want you to have a position of absolute, right? And then it moves out of this page. Like you can't even see it. Yeah. But if you check well, you can actually locate where it is. It is somewhere here. Look at the color one here. It's here. This is the image. It's here. But that's the first thing you do. So what's the second thing you do? You now say, because it's relative to this container, so it's going to be somewhere around this container, right? It is now up to you to position it where you want to position it. We know we want to position it somewhere at the top to the right, and then um, at top, yes, top right, all right? So I would say top should be where? How many percentage to the top? I would say zero for now. So zero is up here because this is where the container end starts from. So top is zero. That is why we added a relative to this guy. Had it been I did not add a relative to the hero section, the container containing everything. Let's say I go back and I'd say I comment out this position of relative. And then the color is not going to be here now. It's going to be at the top of the page. It's going to be relative to HTML, right? Because HTML is like the first container. The very first container is HTML. Yeah, so it's going to be relative to that HTML because it does not have a parent that you assigned as being relative. So that's what's happening here. But we want it on this container. We want it to be relative to this uh, container. It should be absolutely positioned to this container. So I'm going to put the relative back on that container, and now it is here. But of course, we don't want it here. We want it somewhere here. So this top of zero, if I had said, for instance, 10 or 50%, for instance, to come down here, zero is at the very beginning, but 50% is somewhere here, right? So, but of course, I want zero, so I'll just say zero for now. It's here. And now another thing I can do is right, because we want it to the right here. So I would say right zero. And once I say right zero, it's going to come somewhere here, right? It's going to come somewhere here and stay here to the right. If I had said, instead of right, I had said left zero, it's going to come somewhere here to the very beginning, to the left of this container and reside there. So it's really, really simple. So I would say right zero and it's here now. Mind you, that is not really where it is. It's kind of like a little bit to the top of this container. It's not really zero zero per se. It's kind of like on top of the container. So to do that, I will just keep testing things out because positioning most times is a bit of like test and trial trials. So I would say like -1%, for instance. Let's see. Okay, let me say -10. Yeah. So -10 took it like a bit at the top. And I think it looks good, -10%, right? Maybe bring it um inside a little because, or you know what, just to make sure that we're doing things absolutely correctly, I'm going to put a background color to this guy, this hero section, because here it has a background color. So I'm going to copy this guy, then I'll go to the hero and I'll say, hero, I want you to um have a background color that I just pasted. Oh, sorry, I did not put the hash, so that's why that did not work. All right. Aha. So now it has a background color. Let me just make the top a little bit big, 2%. Yeah, not too bad. All right. So this guy is now here, right? And here it is. Yeah, I think it's almost like the same thing. So you can push it inside a little bit. So you can just say, I want it instead of just zero. I can just say I want it to like be like 1% away from the right, and then it will just shift in a little bit, right? So that's that about that. Let's not. I mean, this is really simple. What we just did is, okay, this bear is here. Okay, what's the closest container that it is a child to? What's the closest parent container that I want to use? I want it to be this main container. Then I'll add a relative here, and then I'll put this image inside that container, right, as a child of it, and then make it absolute. And is then use my top and left or right or whatever to place it where I want to place them. And so that's the first one. The second one is this guy, right? So this is caller two. So I would just I'll still come here. I'll still add this. I just duplicated it and I'll change the name from one to two, right? And now we have this guy. So this is caller two. This guy here. It's here. This is the guy. So what I'm going to do here is, of course, it has the class of caller one. That's why it's still up here. So I'm just going to change that to caller two, right? And then it will come down here. Look at where it is. Yeah. So what I'm going to do this time around, it's in the middle, right? It's no longer here, it's in the middle. So I'm just going to go back to my CSS. I would say, sorry. Yeah. So I would just copy everything here, basically the same thing. I'm just changing this from color one to color two. Then I would say I want it to be in the middle, right? In the middle. So I would say top of 50%, because 50% is like half. 50% is like half, right? Yeah. So this is like 50%. And then I would say uh let me see. So left is going to be like 50% as well, right? So this is like 50%. So I'm saying from the top, calculate. This is quarter two. This is what we're working with. So I'm saying from the top, calculate 50%, right? place it to the center, and then from the right, also take 50%, and that will also place it to the center. And then we have this guy, right? Now, the third guy, I'm going to name it color tree, um, and then I would say color tree, the class, and then the image itself, color tree. Let me see. Yeah, so this is this guy here. Now, I want to place it down here, down here. So I'm going to go to my CSS, and then I'm going to copy this and then duplicate this guy, right? And then I will name this color tree. So now instead of top, because now this is bottom, this is not top, right? Of this container, it's bottom. So I'm going to name it. I'm going to give it bottom of 0, of course, because it should be at the very very bottom. So there's nothing like 50 or 10 or whatever. It's just 0, right? That will take it to the bottom, which is down here. Um, But of course, left here is 50%. We don't want 50%. We want it to start at the very, very left, which is 0. So I'll place it 0%, and then it's here, right? So on the Figma file, it's down here. So here we've also placed it down here, and that is beautiful. If you want to kind of make it go a little bit, okay, let me just say -1%, right? Or let's just say -10% rather. So it will come down a little, right? We're using negative. It's comes down a little, because here it's like there is. Let me zoom in a little. Here it's not just on the line; it's down away from the line a little. Yeah. So that's what we've done here, and just like that, we are done with positioning this guy, and this guy. And mind you, I made use of percentages all around. I didn't make use of like 10 pixels or whatever pixels. Use percentages. I'm big on using percentages. So let's quickly do the rest. We have, so if you scroll down, let me zoom out a little. Um, then secondly, we have this guy, right? We have this bring your team together wherever they happen to be, blah 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 blah. So that container is can be found here. So this is the container here, right? And we have how many items? We have one, two, three, right? So I'm just going to come here, create a div for all the three of them. I'll add an image, then I would say images, right? And then I would say color 4, then 5 and 6, right? Hopefully that is correct. And 6, yeah. So that will bring this three images down. So this is one, two, three, right? Yeah. Currently they are using the flex. That's why they're like this, because I did the whole flex column on this guy. So if you go to team, uh let me see. I think I did flex column. I don't know. Let's team text align center. Okay, no, sorry, they are a div, right? They are a div. So they are inside the div. So each line will take one. Yeah, that's what's happening there. All right. So what do we do now? We want to position this guy somewhere, right? We want to position him somewhere. So what do we do? We The same thing basically. So I'll just change. I'll give them a class. So this will be color 4. That's the class of color 5, then class of color 6, right? And then I'm going to start with the first one. So after team, where is team? I like to like be structured when I'm writing code, so I don't find things. So this is color 1, sorry, 4. So basically the same thing here. I'll just say the position is what is going to be absolute. But mind you, the first thing I should have done is I should have added a position of relative to the container that it is inside. So container, position of relative, and then position of absolute for color 4. So where do I want color 4? Look at where it is now. I want it to be up here, right? So I'm just going to say top 0, left 0, right? And then it will be up here. Yeah, but if you check our Figma file, it's kind of like beside the B. So it's not really 0. 0 should be somewhere here, but we want it beside the B. So we're going to say how many percent? Let's just try 15% and just test it out. Okay, 15% is kind of like a little too much. So 13%, still a little too much. 12. All right, let's try 10. All right, so 10 is now here, right? And it looks kind of good, but I think top should also be a little bit up. Okay, that's too much. So let's try 5%. Yeah, so this is perfect, right? So it's at the top here. So here. So that's that. And we'll do the same thing for this and this as well. And okay, let's just quickly. I think it's kind of like clear how to how to do all of this. Yeah, but let's do two more. Let's do this and then this guy, right? I'll be very quick. So I'm going to I'm going to be really quick. I'll make this 5, right? And then come here. This is already 5. Okay. And then I would say, where are you currently? You are where this guy is. No, that's not where we want it to be, somewhere here, right? So we're going to say, I'll just use top, right? I'll just say top is going to be like 25% from the top. This is where it is. No, let's say 35. And then I'll make it right. So I'll change left to right because I want it here. Yeah, so this is here, right? Yeah. So maybe this was too much, so I'll make this like 8. Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect. So that's 2. And then this last guy, I want it in the button, right? So I think I should just reconstruct that. So let's go to the button. Where's the button? Uh, the button is this guy. Okay, yeah, it's fine. We can still leave it there. If we want it to be inside this button, we can just create a div surrounding the button, and then we have the button and we have this last guy. But I don't want that. It's fine. This is fine. So we'll just say, um, let's just continue what we are doing. So okay, it's somewhere here. So let's just try that out. So this would be color 6. Like I said, it's really, really simple. The concept of how this works is really, really simple. So you shouldn't worry yourself about that. So top is yeah, I think top should be more. So let's just say like 85% from the top. I want it to be 25% from the top. It's somewhere here, which is fine, right? But now it's to the right because we have right here. So we want it to be to the left. So I'll change this right to left. And then it comes here. Of course, this is too small. We want it in this button. So we'll just keep testing things out to get something that works. So let's say 45%. That was too much. 40%. 30%. All right, so 33%. Yeah. So that's beautiful. It's now on the button, right? Just like here. It's now on the button. And then finally we have this guy, right? Yeah. So um I think that's a quarter 7. So let's go to the footer. Now this is the footer containing everything. And I'm going to add the div, of course. I'll put the image inside. I like placing my images inside the div. Uh, I'll say images and then I'll say color 7, right? Then I'll give it a class of color 7. And then I would say, I'll go to my styles and I would say, I'm just copying everything just to save time. As a developer, you should be very lazy. So I would say bottom like 5%, I think. Oh, sorry, I have not placed again, that's a mistake. So I'm going to take this color 7 and I'll place it right before the footer. So the footer should have a position of relative, right? Because it is inside that um, footer. The collar 7 is inside the footer. So the footer should be relative. Yeah. And then the item we want to place itself should be absolute. So let me paste it here. So bottom 5% from the bottom, which is this here, right? But I think 5% is kind of like really, really small. So let's say 50%. Yeah, this is better. And then I'll move it to the right because we want it to the right. We want it to the right. Yep. Then it's here. But ours is here. So I'll just like move it, let's say like 10% for instance. So it's somewhere here. Take it 5%, let's see. Yeah, so this is perfect, right? Or at least close to perfect. Yeah, so this is where it is, and this is where this guy is, right? So we've successfully linked this guy, this guy, this guy, this, and this guy in less than 30 minutes. So, so like I said, it's not like really difficult, guys. The whole positioning thing is just know what you want to like, what it should be relative to, and make that parent a relative. It should be the parent of that item, and then make that item absolute, and then move them around with top, bottom, left, and right, and you should be fine. And also make use of percentages too, so that when you are doing your whole media query, which you will still learn about, it will be easier for you. So that's all about today's class.